our society. We cannot afford this new development paradigm, which is based on technology, which is very capital intensive, to create more divide in the country. So government has to take a very proactive role to make sure that we are focused on creating equity in society. We uplift the most vulnerable people, groups, and regions to mainstream them and give them requisite education, requisite health, and requisite livelihood opportunities so that they can also get benefits of the new development or progress. So education is again one of the most important elements in our human resource strategy with health and population control. And these three, as I said, are major drivers for us to create equity. We actually conducted a study in 2016-17 with UNDP, which for the first time plotted poverty in Pakistan at district level. So we have also started a major program this year to target 20 poorest districts of Pakistan and mainstream them in next 5 to 7 years. And out of these 20, 11 districts fall in Balochistan, 5 I think fall in interior Sindh, there are 3 are in KP and 1 in Punjab. So we are hoping that this intervention will really help us through, like as they have an affirmative action in development, to mainstream these areas and will try to bridge the gap. Right now we are carrying out very comprehensive studies of these areas to determine their social economic landscape and to identify the gaps and the drivers that can accelerate the development there. What are those critical gaps, whether it is education, it is connectivity, it is energy, what is it that can really fast track their development? In education, we are working with the provinces, as you all know, that human resource development related, most of the areas have been devolved to the provinces. But that does not mean that federal government cannot take lead and not coordinate. So we are working very actively, proactively with the provinces, and in the coming budget, we are launching some major initiatives for bringing children into school so that we must have 100% universal primary enrollment. There is no reason why in this age any child should be without education. So we did one experiment in our previous government on an International Literacy Day. We targeted to bring 100,000 children into school in one day. And what the result was that end of the day, more than 800,000 children had showed up for enrollment. So what that showed, this is not a demand issue, it is actually a supply issue. We are not able to reach out and we are not able to accommodate. And when these children came to schools, we found that most of these schools were very crowded and they did not have enough teachers to retain these children. And after 3 months, more than half of the children were like dropouts. They could not be retained by the education system. So we are working very closely with the provinces how to strengthen our education coverage and bring every child into school. In last government, we also started a major initiative for national curriculum reform. Unfortunately, that got controversial during the previous government, but we are again reviving it. The idea is, it is not that you have to teach your children. You also have to see that what are you teaching them. More than 50% of the skills that we have today will be redundant in the next 10 years. So the whole education experience has to be redesigned in light of the new skills that are going to emerge and that are already on the horizon. So that requires a very major restructuring of our education system, of our curriculum, of our training programs to be aligned with the new imperatives of fourth industrial revolution that already has come in. Similarly, we launched a major initiative and we are working with Education Ministry and we have given them a blank check. I'm still waiting for proposal from them that we want to set up state-of-the-art teacher training center which can become a benchmark for teacher training programs in the country. Because if you change curriculum, you don't train your teachers in new curriculum, that means nothing. The third is examination system. You change the curriculum, you train the teachers, but if you don't change the examination system, again, it means nothing. So we are also working with Education Ministry to reform the examination system in the country. On higher education system, we have undertaken a number of reforms to increase the reach and spread of higher education system. We want each child, each young boy and girl, regardless of where he or she is, to have access to minimum higher education system. So we are now setting up a two-league system, a national league of universities, which will provide access to each and every young boy and girl who has the merit to or has the desire to achieve higher education, and then a premier league of 12, 15 universities which shall be developed to be in the top 100 universities of Asia. So this is a very mega effort that we are going to pursue over the next 5 years to revolutionize our higher education system. We have asked Higher Education Commission to train each and every student, regardless of whether he or she studies philosophy or science or literature. Every student in our university must have a course in entrepreneurship and exports, so that we give them an orientation towards job creation, not to be a job seeker, and they should all be looking towards starting their own businesses. Similarly, in higher education, we are trying to develop a critical mass of our human resource, which will then become master trainers for our education system. We have launched US-Pakistan Knowledge Corridor, in which we have offered 10,000 PhD scholarships over 10 years to brightest and the best young Pakistanis to go to US, get best education, come back and develop our education system. Recently, in this 75th Independence Anniversary, we offered 75 scholarships to our youth, to whoever is able to get admission in the top 25 universities of the world was eligible to get that PhD scholarship at government cost. So number of initiatives are in pipeline. We have already started, but as I said, the most important thing is how do we retrain our youth for the new skills, and that means moving our education system away from degree-based system to a skill-based system. And for that, we have recently set up a national task force for human development and skill development, in which we have assembled all experts from the private sector and the government, and this task force will, within 1 month, give us a roadmap that what new skills and what changes in our human resource development programs we need to pursue, so that we can keep our efforts aligned with the new emerging challenges. And I think this report is very timely, that it will provide us a lot of useful information for developing this roadmap. So I can go on and on, but let me stop here. And I think the fundamental challenge for us is not new knowledge. All the knowledge is known. I think the real challenge is in implementation. We all need to have that sense of